Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your December 2020 tarot reading. It's Raina here. Yes, I am a Sag, and I always have to bring that up. And I do have the astrological forecast for December up, so please check my channel if you are not subscribed to me, and you will see it. And so let's look at what the cards say, just for fun. I'm kind of interested for obvious reasons. Okay, now I may not be able to move the camera that much. I want you to be able to see. Yeah, you can see a little bit more of the cards. Let me just put these down, but I'll hold them up anyhow. So the heart of the matter is the Hierophant card. And I have said this more than once, that I believe that the Hierophant is more, it vibes more to Sag than it does for Taurus, what it represents. But it is what it is. I did, I looked through a book that had all these different experts, and there was one person who attributed it to Sag, or connected it to Sag. But this is the card. You can see that this person's wearing papal garb, and it is associated with some of those things like, religion, but also it's a card of conformity and tradition, and even marriage. So sometimes I see this as a marriage card. But for Sag, this is going to be a little bit of a dilemma, because this is not something that Sag just does, without even thinking twice, unless your moon is in, I guess, Taurus, Libra, or Cancer. Maybe you're more likely to go, okay, I'll get married, but other people may kind of like hesitate and pull back from that. Also, to me, this card is so connected with the ninth house, the card of higher education and religious matters. So this is something that, these are Sag topics. And, but, regardless, I would say also, if you're somebody who has been, I don't want to call it indoctrinated in a religion, but it's been a very big part of your life, but you're kind of going in a different direction. So an example would be somebody who is feeling a lot more drawn to metaphysics, or even in terms of organized religion, Eastern religion versus the Western religions, if they were raised in that way. And if that has been a big part of your life, that can certainly, cause a lot of, like, a rift between you and maybe family members. And if we look at what's happening in December, there is this sometimes, with people, because of the holiday season, a likelihood of coming in contact with people that you don't necessarily see most of the year, and having to, like, explain these kinds of things. So if you're going, I know some people are not going to be doing the typical, holiday stuff, but some are. And, is it going to be a clash? Dealing with people, anticipating people asking you, when are you going to get married? Or, if you're bringing a significant other with you. But in general, the issue of religion comes up for some reason. And, this is something that, if you know your ninth house, in your natal chart particularly, and you can see what transits are going through there, you may understand better like what this represents. Like for instance, I've had Saturn going through there, so it's been kind of like this test of faith. And so beyond just the idea of religion, what is behind it, which is this idea of really believing that things are possible that you have wanted, and but it's really more about life itself, and the way that you view life. For some people, this is about conforming to something and feeling that sense of ambivalence, because I have it in the past position, the Two of Swords, which is like a decision that a person has to make, and the person is blindfolded. That symbolizes, along with the moon, this idea of self-deception, maybe lying to oneself, or not really refusing to see the totality of the situation. And, a phrase that just came into my mind is, to thine own self be true. So something like, even in a work situation, I often see the Hierophant as connected to like a corporate environment where you have to fit into that in order to survive, where there may be like a corporate culture. And for Sag, those kinds of careers may clash with your rebellious nature, with your desire to be your own person and authentic. And yet you may excel in that type of environment because you may be a good salesperson, you may be a good public speaker, there may be aspects of it that you really enjoy. Perhaps it's an abundant lifestyle. Maybe you make a lot of money that way, but there's that sense of having to sell out that may kind of like rankle you. So I don't know what this card means, but if this is something, this is also connected to Taurus. And it's funny because in terms of transits, the Taurus full moon happened on Halloween, and that was a really intense one for me. I don't know how many Sages felt the same way about that. And so if it's a timing card, that could have been like a turning point, that something happened at that time that brought something to a head and maybe released it, because the full moon can bring endings. And so you saw something ending. And because Uranus was connected to that full moon, it could have been a sudden break. And hear that train horn? It's kind of underscoring what I just said. So I look at the whole picture because actually, I find that an interesting card to have as the centerpiece, that Hierophant. And the higher message is the Page of Wands. This is a card of good news. So perhaps this is something that you are not quite sure is possible. If you have been awaiting something, and you may have been feeling this sense of like, when is this going to arrive? I've been waiting. And also, this sounded weird to me, but something that came up for me was somebody like trying to have a baby and waiting. And when I got this, I was thinking of like, you have to like, maybe you have to visualize that moment when you find out. Perhaps if you've been trying, it feels like a hopeless cause if it still hasn't worked. Because for some of you, that full moon in Taurus actually fell in your 5th house, which is a house of conceiving children. As a matter of fact, I think probably a lot of you had that happen in that 5th house. And so the Page of Wands is this sense of good news, start spreading the news. I can't say how many times I've used that as the title of my video. I might just do it again because I think it's funny. But the page is the messenger, and wands is fire energy. So fire energy is us, Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. And so perhaps like if you have been involved with somebody who is a Taurus individual, or somebody who's conservative, maybe somebody who, you know, at one point in your life's journey was a grounding influence, and it was like this comforting influence, and then you realize that you just are not, you know, on the same page in life. The Page of Wands can be an exciting new relationship with somebody who is literally a fire sign, sun sign, or perhaps they have it as a rising sign, or, you know, Venus, Mars, whatever, inner planet, inner point, and or that they, some kind of like I was going to say an affair, but that's not what I mean, like an infatuation, where you feel this sense of passion for someone, whether or not you have started that relationship. Pages can be the early stages of something, but to me, it doesn't have to be a full-blown affair. Maybe you're like, you've fallen for somebody, and it hasn't, you know, you haven't done anything about it, but it's enough to make you question your current relationship. And that person, it also can be, if this is a marriage situation, that the person that you're with, you know, like also, I mean, that could like compound the dilemma, is if you have like these strong beliefs about marriage and about that marriage is supposed to be forever, and that might be also creating a big you know, feeling of not knowing what is the right thing to do. But also the other thing too is that I was talking about this conservative work environment or conformist work environment. The Page of Wands can even be either, you know, you know, having faith that you're going to hear back a message that you want to hear, if you have been going around and looking for alternatives, because perhaps you've been waiting for that phone call that has never come. And, you know, I think it really is in December when things start to gel, because we've had these retrogrades, and we've, you know, like Mars is in a friendly angle to Sag, because it's in a fellow fire sign of Aries, and that Aries is the fifth house for Sag. So this is a house of the business that you own. So that may even be an endeavor that you begin yourself, but you have to believe in yourself. And maybe that's why the Page of Wands is in the spiritual, or like the higher message that comes to you, is that it's not just about necessarily, you know, going from one job to the other. Maybe you have to create your own job to really be where you're supposed to be. And what crosses you is the Justice card. The Justice card is connected to Libra. So if there's somebody in your life who, you know, if this is the, you know, the dilemma of a person that you're currently with, it's kind of underscoring that this person may not be traveling with you right now in terms of your life journey, that they have already, that your paths have become divergent. And at one time, maybe there was some, you know, there was a general, there was like some kind of an alignment, but over the years, that has gone away. This can be, the Justice card there can be this sense of unfairness that is permeating you. Now, typically, what I see with this kind of a card is if somebody is in a a legal situation. And maybe that is what the Hierophant is representing, is that your marriage is front and center because you're getting a divorce. I mean, that's always possible. We just had or I'm sorry, I'm saying it like it's the past, but it's coming up in a few days as I record this. It's coming up in 5 days. There is a lunar eclipse in Gemini on November 30th, if you're watching before then, but it actually, for some of you, this may affect you in the month of December. The eclipses, you can't pin it to that particular date. And this is the 7th house for Sag. This is the marriage sector, the relationship sector. So that could be something that there could be a finality to that for some people. And that's what the Justice card is representing. However, there may be this sense of justice denied in some way. And what that can mean is that the other party may be trying to block it, or, maybe they don't want it. And with the Two of Swords, perhaps you are kind of on the fence as well. So if you have been going back and forth on whether or not you want to do this lunar eclipse is coming into the picture. So for those people who have relationships that are troubled, it may be something that happens regardless, and you just have to accept the inevitable. But it may not be something that you feel like is that you're really sure about, and that can be what is so frustrating, is that you want to feel okay about it. For those of you who are in an environment where you feel like you cannot be your authentic self, this could actually be something where you're thinking of filing. You feel like it's unfair. Like, I know this is kind of like a more mundane example, but this is a workplace situation, so it can be like that, where they're asking you to wear certain hairstyles, certain clothing. I see my ashes from my incense are just falling on the table. But yeah, it's something where you just don't like that kind of situation. And you want to be able to be free to express yourself the way you want. And you really feel like it's unfair, like that they're overreaching. Or some other, like, hierarchy. I mean, that's what I see the Hierophant too, where you're being treated like you're on the low end of the totem pole, and everybody else has special privileges and whatnot. What's coming in? I like to see this, the King of Pentacles. So of all the suit cards, this is the highest in the suit of Pentacles. And what does that mean? Well, to me, this is all about mastering money. So somehow, this is a great money card. So maybe you get a raise if you decide to continue working at your current place of employment because of some kind of situation that has been unfair, but that you felt that there was this discrepancy. Because maybe with the Two of Swords, there is some kind of loggerheads, you having, I can't think of that term, but you and your employer having an impasse of some sort. Maybe it was a salary negotiation, and you have felt like it was unfair. But I think that if that's the case, that you're going to be the victor in that. And if this is a personal situation, the King of Pentacles can be like, that's why I was saying Taurus is connected to the Hierophant. And perhaps for some of you, if this is a marriage partner, this is somebody that you may decide to settle down with. And yes, I was really thinking about that as well. If there is somebody in your life, and maybe this person is of a different religion, and perhaps they're very strident about their religion, and if it's a kind of a conservative religion, and it clashes with your beliefs, you may decide that that isn't enough of a problem, and you will go ahead with commitment to this person. And if on top of that they happen to be a Taurus, then there might be a lot of adjustment. You might have a lot of things that are not necessarily where you don't have them in common. If this is literally the sign that you're involved with, I think I've already done a reading, like a video on compatibility between these two signs, and obviously it's a general kind of thing, and you can't base it just on the sun signs, but it's kind of fun, and so you can look on my channel for that. But but this is great. This bodes well for money. And then we have the outcome card, and this is the Four of Wands. So we have another fire related card. And fire, it just means that there is a sense of autonomy, a sense of enthusiasm for, passion for whatever it represents. Well, the number 4 connects to the domestic side of life. So this could actually be buying a new home, and or this is a marriage card. So, or, if it's moving in with somebody and and sharing a domestic space. So that could be something for some of you in December. And maybe it's even with that lunar eclipse, it's kind of I was going to say like a very sudden thing, or a whirlwind, not a whirlwind affair in terms of like you just met the person, but kind of deciding that you will commit, and then it's like, hey, let's just elope or something like that. It could be something as simple as that. And there's definitely some kind of connection with money in December for Sag. And I love it. Bring it. I want it. But like, a very good card for money. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Sag. And if you would like to look at 2021, which I think is going to be an amazing year, with your cosmic blueprint for this incarnation, your natal chart, a lot more precise than YouTube videos, and also interpretation of your chart, if you've never had it done, or if you want a second opinion, please click on the link below. I have different types of readings that I offer. Everything is on sale through mid-December. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.